Hi, I'm Ellen Osborne, and I'm the school board representative from the Scottsville Magisterial District. It's been my privilege to serve in this position the last few years, and I'll be running again in 2023. I'll be on the ballot with Michael. My motivation stays the same as it was in 2019. My children had an excellent experience in Albemarle County Schools, and I believe that should be the case for every child. I came on board in early 2020. We had just a few school board meetings before the world shut down to COVID, and navigating the pandemic took a lot of our time and energy. Our plans got a little derailed, so there's still a lot to do. There are two big things I've been focused on. These are now underway, and I'd like to see them through to completion. We're addressing the overcrowding in some of our schools. I hope that by the end of my next term, we'll have a new elementary school in the southern feeder pattern. And we're still actively considering solutions for the high schools. And we're now getting some outside help on figuring out why we're failing some of our kids. Asking for consultants to look at what we're doing that's been producing such achievement gaps over the last 20 years. We're too close to the problem to see it for ourselves, so an objective look is a good step. I think many of us over the years have run for office on closing the achievement gap, and that goal is still front and center for all of us. But more than anything else, I'm running again because I believe in the values of Albemarle County Public Schools. Our commitment to respecting the dignity, potential, and uniqueness of every child who comes through our doors. I'm strongly invested in our mission, which reads, working together as a team, we will end the predictive value of race, class, gender, and special capacities for our children's success through high-quality teaching and learning for all. We seek to build relationships with families and communities to ensure that every student succeeds. We will know every student. I'm all in on that mission. So, today, I'm here to support Michael Pruitt in his run for Albemarle County Board of Supervisors. It helps when the school board and the Board of Supervisors have a good working relationship. I've appreciated Donna Price's contributions to our partnership over the past few years, and I thank her for her service. The success of our boards is intertwined. Michael has a lot to offer the county. As a Navy veteran with 2 deployments to the Persian Gulf behind him, he understands what service to our community means. In his work with the Urban Institute in DC, he led a study of workforce development opportunities in rural communities. He understands housing policy and believes that good policy can enhance economic justice for all. He's committed to working for the underrepresented people of this county and making sure their voices are heard. Thank you for stepping up, Mike. Come on up.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Ellen, both for the introduction and for your work and everything you've done confronting the challenges that face our schools. From the very first moment I met Ellen, I think the thing that really struck me is just, it's very immediately clear the amount of compassion that drives her in this work, and that's really what motivates her. And I'm so proud and honored to be able to run alongside you. Thank you. And thank you also to, let's hear it for Ellen real quick, I also want to thank everyone who has come out today. I know it's the weekend, and it's right after a holiday, and I get that coming and listening to some guy talk while he stands by, a music stand he's pretending is a lectern might not be the first way that you chose to spend your holiday, and I'm really honored that you chose to spend it that way with me. So now, let's start with the soundbite. My name is Mike Pruitt. I'm a Democrat running for the Albemarle County Board of Supervisors to represent the Scottsville District.
Yay!
Today I'd like to tell you a little bit about myself, and then more importantly, I'm going to talk about the future I want to help build for this county. I grew up in a small town in the Blue Ridge of South Carolina. It was a little place by the river, 1,000 or 2,000 people, just about half an hour from the nearest city where folks could actually find work. And I hope when I say that, that sounds a little familiar to folks in the town of Scottsville. As I got older, I realized that this wasn't a place that I could stay. Decades of disinvestment meant that there were no opportunities, and growing up in the 90s as a kid like me, I didn't always feel the most welcome. So I left. I got a military scholarship to a good school, and I spent over a decade traveling the country with the Navy. As an officer, I led sailors at sea through 2 combat zone deployments off the hostile coasts of Yemen and Iran, and I later joined the Office of Naval Intelligence, where I helped advise some of our top generals and admirals as we stared down the barrel of possible war with Iran. There were a lot of really rewarding moments, and leading sailors was really the opportunity of a lifetime. But I moved and I traveled a lot. So when I was preparing to end my military service, I think the thing I was really excited about was the opportunity to finally have a home. So I took that decision really seriously. I never felt welcome where I grew up. And all of the 8 different places I lived while I was in the Navy, they never felt like they were really there to last. Living here in Albemarle has been my first chance at a real home. I don't want future generations growing up in Albemarle to feel the way that I did. Our county is one of the most beautiful places in America. We've got trails and farmland all sitting in the shadow of the Shenandoah Mountains. And we're a county that's prospering. We're growing. We've got booming agritourism. We've got tech and telework. We've got a defense industry. We've got so much. But we're also we're also a place where folks struggle to buy or even rent a home. The folks who actually work in our schools, in our transit system, in our police force, often have to commute from Fluvanna, from Greene, from Nelson, from Waynesboro, because they can't afford to live here. I had a good job and I saved for years, and even I need 2 roommates to be able to barely make the payments on a townhouse here. If someone like me, mid-career, from a successful background in his 30s, can barely afford to live here, what hope does a 19-year-old who just graduated from Monticello High, who's working 2 service jobs and taking night schools at PVCC and business, what chance do they have? How is that person supposed to start a family? People shouldn't be faced with the prospect of aging out of Albemarle. Folks who want to stay here or to live in the community they work should be able to. I want to make a future where Albemarle can be a home to anyone who chooses it. To make that possible, we can't just build more and develop more and hope that new construction is going to be magically affordable. I don't believe that zoning is going to be a silver bullet that's going to save us. And letting mid-rise apartment buildings spring up along Scottsville Road isn't going to help everyone who's truly struggling. We need to actually deeply invest in affordability. We need to invest in our nonprofit partners, and we need to fight for stronger inclusionary zoning and proffers. We need to then say, once we've done all that, we need to knock on the doors at Richmond, and we need to say, that's not enough. We still need better, stronger tools. We need tenant protections, mortgage assistance. We need the ability to have more flexible tax powers so that homeowners who are really deeply struggling don't fall further under burden. And we can't stop there. Not only for our future generations, but for working families right now, we need employment options that people can actually live on. We need to strengthen the pathways from a technical education to the middle class. We need to offer people careers and not just jobs. Thanks to the hard work of our school board, we already have amazing technical education here in Albemarle through PVCC and K-Tech and Center One and more. Now it's on the Board of Supervisors to attract the industries and forge the partnerships that students can then use to take that education and actually apply it right here at home in Albemarle. In my time at the Urban Institute, I helped start dozens of apprenticeship programs across the country, including a lot in rural communities. I helped get hundreds of kids on their pathway to good careers. And I know the steps that go into making this possible through local government. Now, I'm talking trades, but I don't want us to think that only means, HVAC technicians and welders. As tech continues to grow in the hub of Charlottesville, we need to make sure that they're hiring database engineers, they're hiring graphic designers and security specialists from vocational technical training programs right here in the county, rather than trying to hire out of the Beltway or Northern Virginia. See, I want a future where everyone can share in Albemarle's prosperity. When we don't invest in our communities, poverty and all its attendant problems can take hold. This is personal for me, I grew up by the ruins of a former mill town. I saw how that turns to poverty and addiction and desperation that can come, and it took friends, it took loved ones, and it took family. That's why I won't accept leaving anyone in our county behind. There are folks in our district that I know who feel like their government hasn't always given them a seat at the table. They haven't listened to their concerns or offered the resources they need. Rural communities on the south side having to drive, half an hour north just to access the basic goods and services that they need in their day-to-day life. Mobile homeowners who sometimes worry that they don't have a say in the future of their own neighborhood. Communities and people of color who, decades after the horrors of massive resistance to desegregation and urban redevelopment, the destruction of Black-owned homes and businesses, still face inequity in education outcomes, in housing, and in the job market. For those folks, and for anyone who feels like their voices aren't or won't be heard, or that their needs aren't or won't be met, for them, I just want to say, this is your government. You deserve to feel like it works for you. I promise I will always make sure you can have a seat at the table and a voice in the room. And I just want to say again, I am so thankful for everyone today who has come out in support. This is really amazing. And I'm going to ask a lot more in support in the coming weeks and months as we get ready for the election in November. And it might be hard, and if it's not clear, I'm kind of nervous. But the thing I know is that we're going to win.
Yeah.
And we are going to make Albemarle stronger, and we are going to do it together. Thank you so much, everybody. All right, that is all the programming we have today, folks. Thank you so much for coming out. I would love to get some pictures with everyone.